Hi everyone, welcome in. This will be a study on the great book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse by verse. The great book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse by verse. So let's get started. First off, I'd like to say that this is an intellectual work, to which I claim the intellectual rights to. I ask that any and all please respect this so as not to infringe upon my rights and steal my ideas, and or use any part whatsoever of this work without my express written consent. There we go. Here we are, Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth. Just how do men multiply? That's right, they have sex. Can a man have children without a woman? Nope. Here we go. And daughters were born unto them. That's right. If you have all sons, you're going to have to marry them off to get the next generation. Because you need women to have men or more daughters. Okay, verse 2. That the sons of God. Who are the sons of God that we're talking about? Well, it says that as many as are led of the Spirit of God are sons of God. So we're talking about what? Previous sons of God. We're talking about fallen ones. The fallen ones. Remember in Job chapter 1? And the sons of God appeared before God, and Satan was among them. Okay? Where was Satan? Out on patrol. Why? Because Satan's a policeman or policewoman looking to see who's breaking the law. Yeah, tempting and such. Okay. Saw the daughters of men and that they were fair. Yeah, that they're better than fair. Yeah, that they could propagate their offspring with them. And they took them wives of all which they chose. Well, a lot of times people are thinking, oh, they're so giant. You know, it's not necessarily that they mixed among humans. What? Masquerading as humans. Yeah, they were doing business and such. That they were the rulers and such. And so what does it say? They took them wives of all which they chose. The upper echelon. And they took them wives of all which they chose. Oh, don't forget that women have to say okay. So it sounds like that they were pretty handsome and well able to produce some money and some of the luxuries of those times. Verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. Yeah, that God doesn't keep continuously asking, saying, this is the way, don't do that. No, it won't always strive with man. For that he is also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Yeah, but we're not only just flesh, that we also have a spirit man or spirit woman. So, but we have a flesh that we ride around in, our vehicle, so to speak. Yeah, that are, at best, our days will comprise 120 years. I mean, you're going to have to, with all the pollution and stuff right now, to live 120 years, boy, you're not going to want to. You're going to be broken by that time. Verse 4. At least in my sight. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days. Now, was everybody 12 feet tall or 20 feet tall or 8 feet tall? No, I think not. But yeah, there were giants of business, giants of entertainment, giants of land, just to name a few. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Maybe like athletes. Yeah, men of renown, men of great business, men of great renown. Notice how it doesn't say that they were, well, let's put it like this. Notice how it says men of renown. That obviously that a lot of times you couldn't tell the difference between a man and these Nephilim. Okay, verse 5. If you want to learn more, then go ahead and watch my Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 video. 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Well, yeah, that they had their own ways of doing things and the traditions of men. That, yeah, they had ideas of doing things apart from God, where they could ascribe their happiness to things that weren't of God. We see that a lot of times now. Look at my metals. Look at all the stuff they make out of metals. Cars, motorcycles, guns, entertainment. Just being fascinated with things. Science. There's all kind of different roads in which they could go down. But one of the roads they weren't going down, besides Noah and his family, was the worship of God and staying true to the traditions of God. Okay, let's continue on. Verse 6. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Look at that. It says that you can grieve God, that God has emotions, that you can cause pain for him. A lot of times that the devil, he can't get back at God, or she can't get back at God. So the way they do it is to get to his children here in the earth. Yeah, that hopefully maybe make them slip, make them fall. Beguile them. Yeah, to cause God grief. That's one way that they get back at God. At least they try to. Now we got to remember that, what does it say in Matthew 24? It'll be like the days of Noah. So what is one of the signs? One of the signs is going to be that men are going to have evil imaginations. Okay, now let's think this through. Who had evil imaginations? What is it? John 8:44, that they're sons and daughters of the devil, and the lusts of their father will they do. That when they speak a lie, they speak it as their native tongue, etc., etc. We're not going to go there, and it may not be verbatim, but you get the drift, I hope, of what I'm talking about. That they're in error. That they strain at the gnat and swallow the camel. Right? Remember? That they go and pay tithes on every little detail, and then they forget the main things of the law, the faith, the mercy, and the judgment. They forget these things. Okay. If it's like those days of Noah, does God change? No, it says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So, yeah, do you think God's going to be wanting to be repented that he made man? Yeah, they're going to make God feel like that again. All these errors, all these heresies and false teachings that don't even make sense. Paul was so wise. What did he say? Beware of the simplicity in Christ. Why? Because Christ made it so simple. Yeah, maybe he wasn't the greatest entertainer or whatever. People didn't want to listen to him. He's just some guy, maybe from Nazareth, that he didn't have the great orator of like a Pharisees or high priest or something like that. All that money and accolades. Yeah, but that was the Son of God. Okay, let's stay on track though. Verse 7, here we go. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I've created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. Okay. Are we talking about the whole earth? No, I do not think we are talking about the whole earth. We're talking about Noah's region. The world as he knew it. Yeah, I don't think that this was intercontinental by far. Nope. I think this was just in that region. But think of all the animals there are. Just how big would the ark need to be? Can you imagine how big would it need to be to hold all these animals? That's another thing that we're speaking about God too. That think of just the animals in that region that they had to put in there. You know, I don't know if we've seen Honey, I've Shrunk the Kids, but yeah, it could. And we're talking about the supernatural. Was it God that when they came, yeah, did he shrink them down? Have you ever thought about how much food it would take to feed these animals? The creeping thing, the beast, the fowls of the air. Have you ever given it thought what it would take to feed something like that? But if you shrank it down, how long it would take to feed them? It wouldn't take long at all. You wouldn't have to do nearly as much. All right, but whether you believe that or not, I'm just saying, just open up your mind. I'm saying, is it something conceivable? Could you conceive it? Verse 8, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Yeah, unmerited favor. Grace. Yeah, that God liked Noah. Verse 9, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Oh, look who he's walking with. Who's he walking with? Do two walk together unless they be agreed? Oh, that's right. Yeah, they don't walk together unless they be agreed. Just think of it like what I was telling in the other previous video. Hey, why not come into agreement with God? And then those that are in agreement with God, that you can be in agreement with them. That's one of those things, one of those simple principles. Okay, here we go. Verse 10, and Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Those are the 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Verse 11, and the earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Ever saw how much violence is in the earth today? Boy, you can just look through the media and just see the violence. Man, you could probably experience it if you went looking for it. I'm sure it's not that hard to find. There are people angry all over the place. There are thieves, murderers, liars, provocateurs, coveters, and the list just goes on and on and on. Adulterers. Okay. Verse 13. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Yeah, that's the wrong person to get angry. God. Yeah, that can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Best friend or your worst enemy. Verse 14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. Yeah, I've worked with pitch before, doing waterproofing. Some nasty stuff, getting it on you. But boy, does it work. Yeah, you could just put lightweight concrete on it, like nothing. Keeps it all waterproof. Okay, here we go. So you can imagine if you start putting it on the wood where you need it water not to enter. There you go. Verse 15. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make of it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it about 30 cubits. Okay, let's just continue on. That's big. Verse 16. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in it a cubit shalt thou finish it above, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. Yeah, 3 stories. Plus the roof. Okay, there we go. Verse 17. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. Yeah, remember what I said though, that it's my belief 100% that this is not worldwide. This is the world as Noah knew it. This, I'll say it again, this is the world as Noah knew it. Well, how much did he know? Probably not that much. He wasn't jet setting around. He wasn't going to Europe, South America, North America, etc., Greenland. Okay, you get the idea, I hope. Verse 18. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee. So, yeah, Noah, you're going to bring your wife and your sons' wives. Yeah, and he's going to bring in all the different races too. I don't want to hear foolishness like Noah. See, this is where problems start, from no common sense that Noah and his children started the earth, the humans, back again. That's in the different races. That's nonsense. Let's try to think outside the box of religion, and not put God in that box of religion. Okay, here we go again. 19. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Yeah, there you go. Every living thing of all flesh. That means non-Adamic races. The races that were created on the 6th day, not the 8th day creation, Adam. Okay. Yeah, imagine that. Verse 21. And I'm talking about the races in that region. Okay? I'm not talking about worldwide. Okay, here we go. Again. 20. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. Now you start thinking about how many of these things are coming. How much would it take to feed this amount? That's why I could figure that God could shrink stuff down if he so wanted, so that stuff could be cataloged and put into the ark and fed. All right. 21. And take thou of thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. What a monumental task. Just a monumental task. Okay, let's finish this up. Verse 22. Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him. So did he. Well, that's going to be it for this short teaching. I hope that you're prospering in your health, your flesh, your finances, your spiritual walk with God, and on and on. So be blessed. And if you're in right standing with God, God bless you. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.